What's up with the Biden administration and all this drug use? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, going to China and getting high on magic mushrooms. I am not making this up. This is a real story. Our Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, went to China on official business. She was not there sightseeing, ticking off a bucket list on a vacation. No, she went there in official capacity representing the USA to speak to Chinese officials. And what does she do when she gets there? She goes and gets high. It's like, what in the world are we doing in the Biden administration? We didn't turn the White House into a crack house. First, you got your man Hunter getting high on crack cocaine, and he's linked right there with his dad. They're going over to China, Ukraine, etc., getting all kind of big bags of money, 10 for the big guy. We got all that stuff going on. Then they want to cover it up, talking about, oh, no, that's disinformation from Russia, all this, that, and the third. Then we find not one, not two, but several baggies of cocaine in the White House, and nobody knows who it belongs to. Although they could find a serial killer from a box of pizza, nobody knows who the cocaine that got into the White House belongs to. Highly doubt it. And they said they found some weed that almost got into the White House. This is ridiculous. I don't know what they got going on. Is there a drug addiction problem? Must you be a crackhead, dope fiend, drug abuser to work in the Biden administration? I don't know what's happening. But before I go any further, we got articles, we got videos, we got a few more things to get through here. And I will link to everything that I'm talking about right now in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But you see what's going on here. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen dined on psychedelic mushrooms in China report. We're talking about shrooms, all right? You know what? And before I continue, I've said that once they legalize weed, that there will be other things that got into the taboo space, because weed kind of was this thing that was illegal, but not really illegal, kind of in a taboo space. Now, once they remove that from the taboo space, there must be another drug to occupy that taboo space. And the next one, shrooms. After that, it'll be MDMA. And then we're talking about cocaine, heroin, and some certain parts of the left coast being decriminalized or legalized. It's going to get to the point where we are a nation hopped up on drugs that is less productive. And then they're going to say that's the reason why we got to have the border wide open to bring in illegal aliens who are not yet crackheads and dope fiends to do our work for us. You know, I think that's what's going on, but that's a much different and deeper story, and I digress. Let's get into what's going on right here. So, what a trip. Okay, here we go. New York Post with the punny writing style, which I adore, by the way. Shout out to you guys over there at New York Post. Magic mushrooms may have been to blame for Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's mortifying bow before a Chinese official last week. Now, let's skip to that video, because we have video of the crazy bowing, and you see her right there already in the weird space. Let's take a look at this bow. All right. All this right here, like, that was way too much. This is not protocol. You don't do this. All right. All this jazz right here, that's not how you do it. All right. And you see somebody like a handler right there behind her trying to get her to stop doing that. All right. You see the handler right there. All that bowing and whatnot, that was ridiculous. You don't do that. Some are going to say, well, hey, ABL, is not really a big deal. Yes, it is. This is not a regular person. This is the Secretary of the Treasury. This is Janet Yellen. Okay, you're going to China representing the U.S. government. It might as well be President Joe Biden right there. You can't do stuff just randomly like this. Janet Yellen knows this very well, but if you're high on drugs, then it's like whatever. You could just, you might not even know that you're doing that. You might think you're going in there just regular, straight and narrow back, firm handshake, but really you look like a complete fool doing all this crazy, ridiculous bowing. right? Let's get into a little bit of this article. Then we're going to go back to the first one. Okay, so she committed a string of diplomatic faux pas during her visit to Beijing Saturday, bowing to her Chinese counterpart multiple times without reciprocation, a protocol error that critics flagged as a sign of American weakness. Exactly. Let's go back to the video, see a little bit of information. Now, when you bow, I suppose, like they said, it needs to be reciprocated. So if we're shaking hands, you shouldn't also be bowing at the same time. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Let me know in the comments below. A handshake should be a handshake. I'm shaking your hand. You're shaking my hand. Okay, cool. But the Chinese official right here is straight and narrow back, handshake. You got to echo that. Y'all got to be on the same page. If he has straight and narrow back and handshake and then you're not, see, that right there, he's like, what are you doing? And then you see the official coming out to try and clean it up. Let's go back to what's going on right here. The Biden administration's top economic official on the second day of her 4-day effort to mend fences with a major rival bowed at least 3 times as she shook hands with Vice Premier Yellen Fong, video shows. While Xi Jinping's new economy czar stood erect, backing away slightly to give the beaming Yellen more room to kowtow. Yeah, see, they're going to use that in propaganda. This is really a mess. Anyway, quote, never, ever, ever, unquote, Bradley Blakeman, a senior staffer in George W. Bush's White House, told the Post. An American official does not bow. It looks like she's been summoned to the principal's office. That's exactly the optics the Chinese love. Bowing is not part of the accepted protocol, agreed Jerome A. Cohen, emeritus professor at NYU and an expert in Chinese law and government. Moments later, Yellen, age 76, way too old to not know any better. But again, if you're high on drugs, you're not going to really understand what's going on with 100% certainty and accuracy. Anyway, she tripped over his name, calling him Vice Premier Hu, as she opened the first official American meeting with the economic chief, a Xi loyalist who was named to the post in March. All right. So look at this right here. I mean, it just... Stay off the weed, stay off the shrooms, stay off the cocaine, the crack. Let's stop. Look, you know what? Now I know I'm going to get some people that love drugs in the comments. Oh, it's just a plant. It's like, look, man, if you want to get high, maybe don't get high at work. I'm just saying, if you like to get high, get drunk or whatever, I don't advocate for that. But if you want to do it, maybe don't do it at work. Maybe don't be the Treasury Secretary. Maybe don't be Janet Yellen meeting with Chinese officials in China on official state business high on drugs. Maybe don't do that. Okay. Anyway, I strongly believe that the relationship between our two countries is rooted in solid ties. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then she was reading this and running a finger along her lines as she spoke. Man, that's crazy. And she's trying to talk about carbon emission and climate change. Well, I know one way to cure climate change is to not be growing so many of these shrooms you consuming. Okay, that might be the way to go about it. All right, let's go back to the first thing here, because I think we've gleaned enough from this particular article. So going back to the shrooms that she got. So she gobbled 4 portions of Jing Shouqing. I know I butchered that name, or the whatever that is. So shout out to all the Chinese speakers out there. Y'all please forgive me, but I just speak regular English. Anyway, but that is a kind of wild mushroom. When she dropped in a casual Beijing restaurant soon after she arrived there on July 6th, Chinese state media reported an effusive story that took care to praise the secretary's chopstick skills. But the funky fungi are known for in the native province of Yunnan for their unpredictable psychedelic effects. Why would you do that? If you go to a restaurant and you're eating mushrooms, like, you know that it could be psychedelic effects. Nobody goes to a restaurant and just orders mushrooms. I've never seen that ever on the menu. I guess it would be there because these are shrooms. These are drugs, essentially. Okay, you're gonna trip on the shrooms. That's the whole idea. Why would you do that on a state-sponsored trip? Quote, you thought you were walking straight, but you just fell sideways, unquote. One gourmand told the Xinhua state news agency in a report about the shrooms' potent powers published only after Yellen departed. Our friend who mistakenly ate them and hallucinated for 3 days. Dr. Peter Mortimer, professor at Cummings Institute of Botany, told CNN. Yeah, this is a whole big crazy mess. So, those are shrooms right there? Okay, but yeah, that is not what it's supposed to be. Not at all. All right, so that's that. I think I have one more video here, or one more piece of information. CBS News went to the particular shroom spot that Yellen went to. Let's see what they say.
Menu. She's been dubbed the Treasury Goddess, or the Goddess of Wealth, and there's a special menu that shows all the things she and her party order.
So, okay, they went to the restaurant where Janet Yellen went, and the restaurant made a special menu dedicated to her, calling her the Treasury Goddess and the Goddess of Wealth, and they have everything that her and her party ordered right there on the menu.
Significantly, this is the big hit, the mushroom dish. This is it. The dish that Janet Yellen and her entourage ordered 4 orders of. It's porcini mushrooms for some relative, cooked with chili, and it's delicious.
I don't understand. Like, why are we pushing drug use? Why are we saying that's like a good thing? I don't really understand where we're headed. Are they trying to get people to get on mushrooms, to get off of SSRIs, antidepressants? There's got to be a reason. I've never seen such blatant drug use on television, on news media. This is something that's completely crazy to me. Maybe it's just me. Y'all let me know what you think about it in the comments below.
It's also a bit of a political message. The fact that Yellen's people chose this restaurant signaled that they want to engage in Chinese cuisine, but in culture, broadly speaking. And the Chinese government, by allowing the restaurant to advertise that she's being here, is also signaling they're interested in.
Now, it's propaganda because they got a U.S. government official to get high on drugs and act a fool in front of Chinese officials. This is ridiculous. As I close, I want to say this. The Biden administration, this is what you get, right? You got crackheads, people on shrooms, people bringing cocaine in the White House, weed, people that can't string 2 words together. You got a guy that's about 1,000 years old, that doesn't know where he is or who he is. This is what you have. So if you voted for these people, well, congratulations. You got what you got. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Janet Yellen going to China and then immediately getting some shrooms and getting high and then acting a complete fool in front of the Chinese officials that she was there to speak to? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think there's a bigger thing here. I think they're trying to push some of these drugs on the people. Again, weed is like whatever. It's like no big deal. It's not taboo anymore. You could just smell weed out on the public. So what's going to be the next drug that fits that taboo space that weed at one point occupied? MDMA, shrooms, then they may go to cocaine like Hunter Biden, weed like the Biden administration, or not weed. They may go heroin. I don't know what they're going to do next, but this is really crazy. And whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.